We are going on a walk. Well, we're going on an exploration. We went on a walk last night over here in the desert, somewhere between us and that mountain, and we found a large pit that goes on the ground. So uh, it's not barricaded, it's just wide open. So we're going to go look and see maybe what we can see inside of it. We found an old campsite with an old tent. We found a few things. So we're going to go do a little exploration tonight or this evening before the sun gets totally down. And we're taking I got a flashlight so we can actually see in that big hole because it's deep. So we'll catch you up when we get out there. But the sun is shining. Be down behind the mountain in about 45 minutes. So we're gonna go take Zen. You ready to go walking? All right, we're gonna go see if we can find some coyotes or rabbits or something out here in this mess. And we'll catch you up when we get over to where we're going to explore. As we get closer over here, we're back to what we found last night. I'll try to keep the sun from blinding us, so I'm gonna keep the camera hopefully away from the sun. What caught my attention last night was this ramp. Oh, bike ramp, motorcycle jump, Dukes of Hazzard launching area. There are tire marks going up to it, so I don't know what they're doing out here in the middle of nowhere desert. In reference, I'm just pan around here. There's a part of the town right there, so we're not too far from town. And as you go around, there is one mine is over, if I can find it, there. It's hard to see in the shadows, but there's one mine. So we're between the mine, Q Mountain, which is that big mountain, and Tyson's Wash. But yeah, this ramp, interesting. There's nothing underneath it. It's all built up. But another thing caught my attention was this, as we walked around, was this ginormous open pit. Probably dirt that came out of it. I don't know. But there's no guards, no nothing. You could just, I mean, there's a road to go through here, four-wheeler road. You can turn right off that, run right across, and next thing you know, you're in Pit City. It does have a water pipe sticking out of it. There's another water pipe across the way. So today's adventure, exploration, brought my flashlight. I want to peek down there and see if we can find something. Not that I really want to find anything, but we're going to peek. So I'm going to get set up here. Okay, we're going to see if we can do this without A, falling into the hole, and B, if we can even see it with all the sunlight. So here we go. I know it's deep. I know this thing's probably about 30 feet deep. And you cannot see the bottom. Wow, that's deep. Oh my gosh. I see where the water pipe goes through and back around, but that thing is, it is deep, deep. Let me see if I can find a rock and throw in there and see. Here we go. 1, 2. Wow. That's got to be at least 30 feet deep. And I don't know what's in the bottom. It's like a rock landing on a tarp or something. I don't know. Kind of eerie. But reminds me of that movie. What was it? 300. I think that's what it was. I never saw it, but I saw the previews where I think that's one where they have the big pit and everybody just kind of pushes them off and they disappear. So that's what I was wondering, like, what's down there? I don't know, but I didn't see anything with my flashlight and it won't shine to the bottom. It's a pretty good flashlight. So we'll we'll leave it like that. We'll say it's empty. But if an animal got down there or something, they're not coming out. It is straight down. And the only way you get out is using that metal pipe that's laying there and pull yourself out. But I know an animal can't do that unless you're a monkey. But it's just straight down, and that is deep. So interesting finds in the desert. So I'm surprised it's not been filled in. I mean, the dirt's right here. So it'd be easy just to bulldoze it back. I'm sure it's a water well of some sort for the mine behind me, but I don't know. Of course, the mine's been closed since the 70s, and this pit's probably been there before that. So that is what the part of our exploration is tonight. And next, we're going to walk over towards the creek. Well, not creek, but we call them creeks back in Arkansas. We're going to walk over towards the wash that way. And I think in that tree there's an old campsite with some old tents and things. We're going to see if we can rouse somebody up. Well, hopefully not, but we're going to explore some more. I think we're right in this area here by these trees. Nope, nothing in that tree. Let's go a little further down, see what we can find, or is it in that tree? We'll go find out. Nope, nothing in that tree. What you guys like to explore when you go out in the desert or some strange lands? It's interesting to see what you might find or don't want to find. Reminds me of a story I'll tell you here in a minute as we walk back to camp. But right now we're going to see if we can find this tent site. Get the sun shining through the Palo Verde trees. I think, nope, that's an ironwood tree there. And a Palo Verde tree. Both kinds. I'm starting to learn my my trees finally out here in the desert. There's an ironwood because, if I can zoom in here, these things are loaded with little sharp points. It's hard to get a camera to zoom in on them, but they are everywhere and they stick to you like crazy. Palo Verde trees are just big green weeping willow looking things, and they are starting to now to get a few leaves on them, as you can point in here. Little bitty leaves coming out on the Palo Verdes. So we're going to go explore some more. There's a good way to explore some. Look what we got coming up over the river, over the ravine. Mr. Paraglider. He's out here quite often. See him flying around. I'll wave at him as we go by. Maybe he'll wave back. There they go. Can you see him? Camera doesn't want to focus. There he goes. As he goes off into the distance. And right around here is, hard to see, but there's our campsite we're looking for, the tent. So we're going to walk over here once we can figure out how to get up to the edge of it. I would say there's no one there because it looks like it's been abandoned for some time, but it's a pretty nice little campsite. Nice and flat. So we're going to walk up and see what's going on. As soon as we can find a way up here, like I said, we're down here about 8 feet below the bankside. Finding a space to get up is going to be a little challenging. Now here's one over here. So four-wheeler have been up this way. We'll try to go up the bankside. Sorry about the sunshine, but that's where I'm headed. Okay, here we go. Get the dog up here. He can pull me up. There you go, buddy. Pull me on up. Here we go. The backside of the camp. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Interesting. Come on. We'll some tracks. We're not going to investigate that. We're going to start looking better, more at it. It's actually like an awning of some sort over a tent. It's got all nicely manicured. There's a bucket or two in there. There's some metal on the side. I don't know. Maybe somebody's living there. But we'll let them do their thing. We're not going to investigate any further than that. All right. Oh, back down the wash. So, yeah, we're walking back towards the camp. Zen is down in the shade. See if we can find some coyotes. Oh, let me tell you that story that I was mentioning back at the pit there. It's a story that happened to me, I think 2000 and I'm gonna say 18. Not many people have heard it. Only 2 or 3 people I've ever told it to. So it's not, I mean, not crazy exciting, but something interesting that happened. Well, back in that time, I had a restaurant. I sold it since then. Had a restaurant, and as anybody knows who has their own business, restaurant, usually working, 18 hours a day, and thinking about what to do the other 6 hours a day. So, and I had a friend of mine that said, "Hey, we need to go camping." And this was, almost 2 years after being in the business without having a day off, and convinced me to go camping for a couple days. And this was back in Arkansas. So we went to a state park called Devil's Den, which is the northwest corner of the state. Really nice state park. And it was like October, so there weren't hardly anybody there. I think there was one other pew or maybe 2 in the whole campsite. And we camped near the end of the camp on where the road circles around. Kind of get away from everything in case anybody came in. And so, remember, this was the first time I've been out away from everything and, away from my business in about 2 years, just having a day off. So, my first time to get out and live life again. So we got there and we got set up and we decided to go on a hike. We are going on a hike. That looks like a coat hole there, buddy. But went on a hike on the trail called the Yellow Rock Trail. This was the trail that basically went up to a giant, as anybody knows, Arkansas, a giant cliff, giant rock overhanging called Yellow Rock. And you get to see the whole valley. And it's probably a good 100 feet or 200 feet down to the bottom once you get to the edge of this cliff. And so we got up there and went on the trail, and we did the trail. Saw a couple people in the family, nothing major. Like I said, it was October, so it was later in the season. And as we got back to camp, had about a half an hour of daylight left, and we were setting up or getting ready for dinner. Noticed a vehicle come in. I think it was a park ranger. Came in and drove down to the end of the loop where we were, probably about, I don't know, 100 yards away, maybe, to a gate that goes back into the forest. Didn't think much of it. Yeah, once the park ranger got there, another vehicle came up. A few minutes later, another vehicle came up. And 20, 30 minutes later, an ambulance came up. And then a few minutes later, sheriff's patrol came up. And about an hour later, the news people showed up. So it was like, what in the heck is going on? Well, evidently, what had happened, or what the story goes, is we were interviewed by the sheriff, questioned about this missing girl and her dog that evidently have perished from the side of the cliff into the valley below. Yeah, they were interviewed. Sheriff interviewed us. Like, did you see any suspicious people on the trail, like a man dressed in black carrying a knife? Or did you hear any gunshots? Or did you hear any screams? And we're going like, my friend and I were going like, no. We just walked off the trail, saw family, and that was it. And I'm like, wait, did we get involved in a murder mystery here or something? And so we talked for a few more minutes and went on. And then, I don't know, I guess about 30 minutes later, one of the news people came up and started interviewing us, like asking questions like, what did we hear? What did we see? What did we find? Of course, didn't see nothing, didn't hear anything, didn't find anything. So we were just there. So that was an interesting evening. I told my friend, I said, that's great. First time out in 2 years and come out to a campsite and get involved in a murder mystery or investigation. So don't know whatever came of it. I think the official ruling was suicide. I'm not for sure, but could have been, she may have jumped, pulled the dog off. Dog could have slipped off, and she may have pulled off with the leash, because I know how that goes. With this thing tied to me, if he goes, I'm hooked up. That's where I'm headed, right off the edge. So anyway, they didn't survive. Sad news. Just a younger girl, I think she was in her upper 20s, going to the university close by. And then, so that was it. I mean, after a couple hours, the darkness, all the ambulances, lights cleared out, all the blue lights, red lights, and everybody went back on their own way, and that was it. And you can hear the paraglider flying over me. He's right behind me on the background. There he goes. He's pretty close. He's encircling that camp though we're supposed to walk by. But as we go along, about a month later, we're back in our hometown and with the same friend again. And leaving Walmart or somewhere, one of the big box stores. And we're getting ready to drive back to to the apartment, and pull up the intersection. Across the intersection is how these towns have waterways with fountains and things in them. Yeah, our town has one of those. Welcome to the town, with a fountain in the middle of it. pull up there, and evidently right before we got there, a vehicle had decided to drive off, and it was upside down with its wheels sticking out of the water. And it wasn't good. The young boy that was with the dad perished. Sorry to hear that too, but the water was only like 4 feet deep, but the boy didn't make it. The dad was, I think, charged with some charges. I think he was intoxicated also. But I turned to my friend after that and I said, you know, seems like every time we're together, somebody dies around us. Yeah, well, I know death is part of life, but you know, it's kind of interesting that you have 2 in about a month. And so, but good to say, this has been since 2018 or so. I haven't been around any more deaths. And I don't have that friend anymore, I guess, either. So they did their own thing, and I went did my own. But it's interesting. So that's my story of the adventures as I was walking across the desert. Remind me of that, and looking at that large pit and encampment, and thinking how easy it is to get lost out here, because it really is. Even with vehicles around, it's still easy to get lost. So that's my story. Paraglider's gone back. The sun is working its way behind the clouds or mountain. Zen is about through with his walk, and we're going to head back to the bus and see what kind of sunset we have this evening, and then call it an evening. So if we run into anything else or find anything more exciting, we'll add to this video. But if not, I think we'll call it end there and say, everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed my little story. Even though it's not as happy ending as I would have liked him to be, but that's just part of what goes on in the world. So off we back. They're walking through. I can see the bus over there and see my red tent. So we're getting close. Thanks for watching, everybody. Subscribe if you like, and like if you like. And we'll just catch you on down the road. Have a good one. This is tonight's sunset. Not real bright, but still pretty nice.